So in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to sound like 𝐕𝐨𝐜𝐿 𝐿 on FL Studio.
This video was suggested by a fellow subscriber, so if you have a video idea that you want me to cover, make sure to comment it down below. I read all comments.
Before we begin, consider subscribing and hitting the bell for more tutorials like this. It's free and you can change your mind whenever you want. No more chit chat, let's get right into the video. Right, so we're in the lab right here, and the first thing we should probably start off with, which isn't necessary for every one of his songs, but if you're doing more like the melodic whatever, you want some auto-tune, and I have it at these settings. I feel like these would just work the best depending on what song, obviously, but for the most part this seemed to work the best. Very simple. Obviously we gotta find the key of the song. I didn't have a specific song, I just put C minor because I felt like it. But the main thing, retune speed and humanize. All retune speed does is it essentially is how fast the vocals are corrected, the pitch is corrected, while humanize makes it sound as human as possible when the retune speed is really high, because the higher the retune speed is, the more Quavo like it'll sound, so you need the humanize to counteract it a bit. So I put it at about 4, which is pretty high, and humanize about 36. It's gonna sound robotic, but not as bad as if this was like a 0 and this was a 0, you know. So next we want some compression. What the fuck? Next we want some compression, and I chose the Fruity multiband compressor because unlike the Fruity limiter or the Fruity compressor, this is, in my opinion, much better because it actually tackles 4. Bro, am I like, am I brain dead today? What the? It actually tackles 3 frequencies: the low frequencies of your voice, the mid frequencies, and the high frequencies. So I have the threshold at 19.8 decibels, the ratio at 1.7 to 1, the knee at 68%, the attack at 54 milliseconds, the release at 366 milliseconds, and the gain at 0. Next, for the mid bands, I have the threshold at 19.2 decibels, the ratio at 1.6 to 1, the knee at 76, the attack at 22 milliseconds, release at 227 milliseconds, and the gain at 3.8 decibels. And finally, for the highs, I got a threshold of -11 decibels, a ratio of 3.4 to 1, a knee of 96, an attack of 5.1 milliseconds, a release of 19 milliseconds, and a gain of 4.1 decibels. And with that, your vocals sound like this, very bright, very crispy, you could say. I am retarded. I'll just go back. Okay. I just realized I had face cam on, like the whole screen the whole time, so I don't know what's going on with me today, but
Just a quick break from this video, but if you're trying to release your music on Spotify, Apple Music, you name it, click the link in the description below because it will give you 7% off DistroKid, which is easily the best music distributor you can be using. DistroKid's already just 20 bucks, so 7% off that is just even better. It helps me out when you do it, so it's a win-win situation. So consider doing it, just clicking the first link in the description. Next thing you want is a limiter. So I basically have it at these settings. I have the limiter ceiling at -5 decibels, but the main reason I have a limiter is mostly for the noise gate. Now, for many of you, I can imagine that in your recording space, maybe you don't have the best soundproofing, but there's going to be some background noise in your recordings. And in order to remove that, the best way is to use the noise gate. And essentially, whatever is underneath the threshold, and as soon as you have the gain at 0, it will be removed. So as you can see, the threshold is the very slight orange over here in the background. So if I don't say anything right now. So everything underneath the orange gets cut. So I have the threshold, for me at least, at -28.7 decibels. But that honestly depends on your situation though. But for me, this is the best one. The gain obviously has to be at 0 or else the effect doesn't work. And the release, I mean, I have it like this. It's basically just to make this process as smooth as possible. But I don't have any problems with this usually, so I just kept it like this. It seems pretty fine. Then we want some Fruity parametric EQ. And what I did over here basically was I raised the highs, especially the high mids. I dropped the in between like the low mids and the mids. And I just completely removed the sub bass because that's where all the rumble and the muddiness comes in. So how I did this, I mean, you would go to default, and to remove the sub, you would go over here to type high pass, and then in between order steep 8 and 6, I just like this 8, and try to have it in between like where this line is in the C2, so somewhere about here. Then to remove the low mids, I just kind of dropped it down over here at about 560 hertz. And I raised the highs over here at about this much. Just kind of left it like this. I feel like this is the best position to have it. Obviously, you can do some trial and error to see what sounds best for you, but for me, this is what sounds best. I also didn't have it at 100%. I left it at exactly 75% in the mix level, which is basically this thing over here. But then, in my opinion, it sounds perfect. Next, we want to make your vocal sound as crispy as possible. So I chose some sound geyser, and it doesn't tell me how much of a percent this is. I'm gonna assume it's like around 25, but I basically have it over here at mode A and at 25%, and just leave it like that. And one last thing that I added was the reverb. Now, I only played around with 3 different things over here. I played around with the early reflection, which I left it at 37%. The wet really depends. I mean, you have to sound check it with the beat, or else you can never be too sure. I'm only doing this a cappella because I don't have a beat as an example, but this is why while you're mixing your vocals, you need to be playing it with the beat, or else, I mean, you never know what sounds good. It might sound great a cappella, and then you put it on the beat and it sounds like ass. But usually I have it at about 45%. To me, that seems the best. And I left the room size at about 30. You also kind of want to have like a Swedish accent. I don't know how Swedish people talk, so bear with me.
Yeah, I like IKEA. Yeah, yeah, hey, I like IKEA. Yeah, I like IKEA. What am I doing, bro?
That shit is a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
Oh my god, corny, rainbow, tomato, corn tomato.
And this has basically been the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel and you want some tutorials on indie, R&B, rap, literally whatever, consider clicking the subscribe button and hitting the bell for more videos like this. I don't just do it on FL2, I do it on GarageBand, Audacity, FL Studio. I don't know why I had to repeat that. Also, consider checking out my music. I make like psychedelic pop, trippy pop, whatever you want to call it. I think you'll like it. I don't know. I just have that feeling. So fucking check it out. This has been the video, guys. Thank you for all the support as usual. We hit 2,000 this weekend, which was awesome. I'm actually so happy about that. But yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.